Hello and welcome. Today, I'm sharing the top 5 mistakes beginner organic gardeners make, and more importantly, how you can sidestep them to save yourself time, money, and a whole lot of heartache. So if you're fired up about starting a garden, stick around. Let's dig in. Mistake 1, starting way too big. Okay, mistake number 1 is a classic, and it's born from pure, wonderful enthusiasm, starting way too big. You've just spent the winter dreaming of a massive plot of land, overflowing with every vegetable you can imagine. You can practically taste the fresh tomatoes, the crisp cucumbers, and oh boy, the endless supply of zucchini. So you go out, till up a huge chunk of your yard, buy a boatload of seed packets, and get planting. For a week or two, it feels incredible. And then, reality hits. The relentless, back-breaking reality of weeding. The constant worry about watering. The pests that show up like they were personally invited to an all-you-can-eat buffet. A huge garden is a huge commitment, and it can get overwhelming fast. You end up spending all your free time just trying to keep things alive, not actually enjoying yourself. The dream of a bountiful harvest quickly turns into a nightmare of weeds, withered plants, and wasted money. The fix is simple, even if it feels a little wrong. Start smaller than you think you need to. I'm serious. Think 1 or 2 raised beds, maybe a 4 by 8 foot space. That's it. A smaller garden is manageable. It lets you focus your time, energy, and compost on a specific area. You can actually learn the watering rhythm for that one bed. You can pull weeds before they stage a coup. You get to know your plants, spot problems early, and learn what they need. A small, thriving, and productive garden is so much more rewarding than a huge, neglected, frustrating one. Master the small space, build your confidence, and then you can expand season by season. This turns gardening from a chore into a joy. So you've wisely decided to start small. Awesome. But where you put that small garden is one of the biggest decisions you'll make. The second major mistake beginners run into is picking the wrong spot. And it almost always comes down to one crucial thing: sunlight. New gardeners almost always underestimate how much direct sun most vegetables need. You might pick a spot that seems sunny in the morning, but by the afternoon, it's covered in shade from your house or a tree. Most of the plants we love to eat, especially the fruiting ones like tomatoes, peppers, squash, and cucumbers, are total sun worshippers. They need at least 6 to 8 hours of direct, unfiltered sun every day to get the energy they need to make food for you. Not enough sun means you'll get sad, spindly plants with few, if any, fruits. So before you even think about digging, you need to become a sun detective. Don't guess. Spend a whole day keeping an eye on the spot you're considering. Check it in the morning, at noon, and in the late afternoon. Get an honest count of how many hours of direct sun it gets. You might be surprised. That spot you thought was perfect might only get 4 hours, which is fine for lettuce or spinach, but it's a non-starter for your tomatoes. And think about convenience too. Hiding your garden in a far-off corner of the yard means it's out of sight, out of mind. That makes it easy to forget to water or to miss the first signs of a pest invasion. Put your garden somewhere you walk by often, near a door or a path. And please put it close to a water source. Trust me, hauling heavy watering cans across the yard all summer is the fastest way to kill your motivation. Picking the right spot sets both you and your garden up for success from day one. You've got a manageable garden in a great sunny spot. Now comes the daily task that seems so simple but is actually pretty tricky. Watering. Mistake number 3 is a classic case of extremes. Either you're watering way too much or way too little. It's one of the most common ways we accidentally sabotage our own gardens. Overwatering is usually the main offender, and it comes from a good place. We want to be nurturing, but you can literally kill your plants with kindness. When the soil is always soaking wet, there's no room for air and the roots can't breathe. This leads to root rot, which will take your plants out from below. Plus, constantly wet leaves and soil create a humid spa for fungal diseases like powdery mildew. On the flip side, there's underwatering. Inconsistent or shallow watering really stresses a plant out. And a stressed plant isn't focused on making a big harvest for you, it's just trying to survive. Watering just a little bit also encourages the roots to stay near the surface, which makes them super vulnerable during a heat wave. The solution is to water deeply, but less often. Ditch the rigid schedule. Instead, get to know your soil. The best tool you have for this is your own finger. Seriously, just stick it about 2 inches into the soil near your plants. If it comes out dry, it's time to water. If it's moist, check again tomorrow. When you do water, do it right. You want to soak the soil down to about 6 to 8 inches deep. This encourages the roots to grow deep, where they'll be safer and more resilient. A soaker hose or drip irrigation is your best friend here because it gets water right to the soil without splashing the leaves. Remember, one deep soak is way better than a light sprinkle every day. Hey, just popping in for a second. If you're finding these tips helpful and you're feeling ready to dodge these gardening curveballs, do me a quick favor, subscribe to our channel and also hit that like button. It really does help the channel find more aspiring gardeners just like you. And stick around because this next mistake is the one that really separates the good gardeners from the great ones. This brings us to maybe the single most important idea in all of organic gardening, and our fourth big mistake, ignoring the soil. A lot of new gardeners think of soil as just dirt, an inert brown stuff that just holds the plants up. They think the secret to a great garden is just adding fertilizer. This leads them to those synthetic fertilizers, the bright blue stuff, that promise fast results but actually damage the long-term health of your garden. Here's the mental shift you have to make. In organic gardening, you don't feed the plants. You feed the soil. Healthy soil isn't dirt. It's a living, breathing ecosystem jam-packed with billions of microorganisms, fungi, and worms. This is the soil food web. These little guys are the ones who break down organic matter and turn it into nutrients your plants can actually use. When you pour on chemical fertilizers, you're basically cutting out the middleman and hurting the very ecosystem that's meant to support your plants. The solution is to make building healthy soil your #1 mission. The best way to do that is by constantly adding organic matter. Compost is the absolute gold standard. It's black gold for your garden. It's teeming with life and nutrients. You can make your own or buy it bagged. Be generous with it. Before you plant, amend your beds with plenty of compost. Then, mulch. Covering your soil with a layer of straw, shredded leaves, or wood chips is a game changer. It holds in moisture, smothers weeds, keeps the soil temperature stable, and as it breaks down, it feeds all that amazing soil life. And don't forget to rotate your crops. This just means you don't plant the same thing in the same spot, year after year. Different plants take up different nutrients and attract different pests. By moving them around, you prevent depleting the soil and you break the life cycles of diseases that might be hanging around. For instance, after you grow heavy-feeding tomatoes, plant something like beans, which actually adds nitrogen back into the soil. Focusing on creating rich, living soil is the most powerful thing you can do for a garden that truly thrives. All right, our final mistake today is a 2-for-1 planting problem. Bad plant selection and cramming them all together. Look, it happens to all of us. You're at the nursery, and those little seedlings look so small and helpless in their pots. The spacing guide on the tag, 18 to 24 inches apart, seems crazy. Surely you can squeeze in a few more to get a bigger harvest, right? Wrong! This is a classic trap. Those tiny seedlings will grow and they will get way bigger than you think. Crowding your plants is a huge mistake. When they're packed in, they're forced to compete with each other for sunlight, water, and nutrients. This actually leads to weaker plants and a smaller harvest, not a bigger one. On top of that, overcrowding kills airflow. That creates a humid, stagnant jungle that's the perfect breeding ground for fungal diseases, which will then tear through your tightly packed garden. The other part of this mistake is choosing plants that were never going to work in your climate in the first place. Trying to grow a heat-loving watermelon in a place with a short, cool summer is just setting yourself up for disappointment, no matter how good a gardener you are. The solution is twofold. Respect the space and know your zone. First, trust the plant tag. If it says 18 inches, get out a tape measure and give that plant its personal space. Your garden might look a little sparse at first, but in a few weeks, you'll be so glad you did. Second, before you buy a single seed, look up your USDA hardiness zone. This tells you which plants will be happy in your area and gives you a good idea of your first and last frost dates. Choosing the right plants for your zone and giving them the room they need is the final, crucial step to getting that amazing organic garden you've been dreaming of. So, there they are, the 5 biggest tripwires for a beginner organic gardener. Starting too big, picking a shady spot, wonky watering, ignoring your soil, and getting the spacing all wrong. But here's the most important thing I can tell you. Every single experienced gardener you know has made these mistakes. All of them. Gardening is a journey. It's a process of learning, watching, and just connecting with how things grow. Don't let the failures get you down. Think of them as lessons. Start small, give your plants sun and the right amount of water, feed that beautiful soil, and give them room to breathe. If you can avoid these 5 blunders, you'll be way ahead of the curve and on your way to a fantastic and rewarding first harvest. Now I want to hear from you. What are some of the biggest gardening goofs you made when you were just starting out? Share your stories in the comments below. It's a great way for all of us to learn from each other. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe to our channel, and happy gardening!